Is the unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern? Is unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern, or is it a tavern that's not been named?
Landon, when it comes to his spaceflight company, he has made the innovation of being able to somehow destroy the breeding grounds of numerous endangered species in a protected wetland without any repercussions at all.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking of
an
which, the
innovation right
launch
there.
failed after minutes reaching space.
Yeah,
God.
and you know, I
This is
really don't. Go ahead.
this is on the same lines. I keep saying I think so. Chesh will kill me when I say it again. This is on the same lines what happened with Elizabeth Holmes. This is all the same thing, claiming that they have the technology that they don't have, and getting shares sold,
Yeah.
or getting investments without showing, without anything to show for. So
Honestly,
yeah,
I don't understand why he hasn't been indicted in the same way that she was. He's lying, if anything,
Yeah.
more to his investors and to his company.
I think there
And
was
actually-
a whistleblower in Elizabeth Holmes' case, and in this case, I don't know if they're
Elon is his own
We know
whistleblower.
Elon-
He doesn't know how to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
that's
just his own statements seem incriminating enough.
Even besides that,
Like-
he's straight up said that Tesla is overpriced. Like, he has said that. He has also interfered with the war in Ukraine and had to have the American government step in and, like, kiss his ass to make sure that the fucking Starlink stays up, because he was fucking interfering with it and was gonna take it down during the war. Like, that's not fucking interfering with international fucking goods and affairs. There's the fucking Tesla issues with all of his cars goddamn fucking exploding. He keeps murdering monkeys for funsies because he wants to put Neuralink shit in their brain holes. And he's just like, it's okay, they were terminally ill monkeys. Like, that's a fucking moral quandary. The dude thinks it's a moral issue to work from home.
That makes it worse, you fucking They were terminally ill, and you made them suffer more. Cool. Oh my god.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat some of the stories that have come out of his Neuralink monkeys, but let's just say this. If you want to go seek them out, I don't know, maybe, like, don't, because they're horrific and torturous and a little heartbreaking if you have an ounce of empathy for anything that isn't a human. Yeah. That company is just torturing monkeys for no benefit, as far as I can tell. They haven't made any breakthroughs in
where's PETA?
mind
Where the fuck
or
is
brain.
PETA now?
Oh, they're still telling you how barbecue is the devil.
Meanwhile, he's out here commandeering public services, or things that are essentially public services. Twitter at this point is something that is generally a public good, just because of all of, like, the official Twitters that are out there for, like, news and for, like, POTUS and for, like, the environmental da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's, like, so many things that, like, Twitter ought to be controlled by the people at this point. It's a stage where everybody kind of shows up. But this isn't the first time he's commandeered something that's been basically for the good of everyone. SpaceX is a perfect example of that. He's just fucking, all he does is just take shit that it belongs to everybody, and then essentially just sucks off the money from the taxpayers through the government to pretend that he's fucking doing anything. It's not even the first time. This guy's a clown. And it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah. So
the pedants out there who might complain.
I believe
when Chesh said a public good, he did not mean a public good in the technical economic sense. So don't at me or her about, like, well, actually, Twitter is excludable, so technically it's not private good. Yeah, no one cares.
You've missed the point.
I believe my comments about Twitter still stand. So.
Yep. Oh yeah, your comments definitely still stand.
And I do again caution what he's trying to turn his, whatever he calls his current app, into essentially, modeling after the Communist Party of China's everything app. If you're going to turn over your funds to that person and put your banking, heaven help you, or something help you, because you'll need help.
Yeah,
I still can't believe he wants to sue the Anti-Defamation League, as if that was gonna make him look good.
Well, he's doing
Yeah,
a classic sort of troll stuff. I mean, it is the type of thing of attacking people who try to point out the problems of what he's doing. Right? He's got a very classic sort of attack thing where he either tries to argue them into specifics and then argue the specifics, or try to say you don't drive a Tesla, you don't use Twitter, so you don't know what you're talking about, type of thing, or other fallacies. But he's really good at that. The main thing is that I think he behaves as if he thinks, well, if I just say things that are aspirational, it doesn't matter that they're not true. I'm trying to inspire people to do a greater good, right? But again,
This sounds like Jin from League of Legends.
Yeah, it's just like SpaceX is trailing in space by decades. Their super heavy launch without failure is still something to be determined. And and the first rocket in 57, the first non-government satellite in 61, the first large-scale rocket successfully launched into space was in 68. The first vertical takeoff and vertical landing on Earth was in 61, and on the Moon was 69. And the first humans to ride a reusable rocket was in 82. These are things that are decades prior to even SpaceX trying it and not doing a good job, which receives lots of taxpayer funding, so it's not some great financial system. And
You know what?
And the
NASA
Artemis project to try to get, as soon as they can get rid of the SpaceX scam, it's going to be I think it's going to be more successful. I think that's probably the biggest threat right now to Artemis and return landing is having aspirational
I think NASA must be having a good time right now.
Yeah.
NASA must be
Yeah,
like,
NASA
we'll step back, we'll have a watch, let's see what he comes up with. And when this stupid stuff happens, they'll like, oh yeah.
So NASA has actually already noted that based on current test flights from SpaceX, that it's nearly impossible SpaceX will be able to complete their current contracts with NASA on time, and that NASA is already looking at alternative options to fulfill their contracts that they have involving things like Super Heavy.
NASA, go to it.
Because remember, NASA is planning to use Starship to get people to and from the surface of the moon, and that's just not going to happen.
No.
It was never a good idea.
Please.
But
Elon, your fascination with childhood comic stories about space is the reason why your SpaceX Super Heavy rockets look like crap. Those little tiny fins there on the top that are actually aerodynamic drags are because you have a comic book fascination with some books you read as a child, and you want to realize that sort of thing and stuff. Your rockets look as sucky as your Cybertruck.
Landon, are you saying that you don't want to set the center of lift way up on the top of the rocket because then it might do things like start to flip out of control? What is this?
So, but again, he's a master of media hype.
All right, let me
all
fix
the
the media hype.
fans.
Let me fix that real quick. So Landon went through a minute ago and he was like, NASA did this has been done, this was happening in the 60s, SpaceX is decades behind. We're gonna fix the phrasing of that real quick. We're gonna media sensationalize this. SpaceX is last millennia behind. Not decades. Last millennia. That's how far behind they are, and they are never going to catch up. Period. End of sentence. The advancements that were made were a collective works that involves people from around the world working together. It wasn't even just America. It was done in America, but it needed Canada, people and engineers from Germany. It took a collective effort as well as pressures from Russia to be able to even do that in the first place. Elon Musk not only does not have the resources, does not have the people, does not have the money that he needs, does not have the know-how, nor does he have the capability to woo the people into doing it the way JFK was able to do so. So he can suck a dick, he's a millennia behind, and he's gonna fucking stay there. You're welcome.
NASA, go to India. India will do it cheap. We got very cheap prices.
And they're successful too. I mean, look at India's recent lander on the moon.
Right?
It was a pretty good.
On the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom dark side. Anyway, yeah, yes. So yeah, but yeah,
There's no bottom or top in space, Landon. It's all the same.
Ooh.
especially if space is flat.
So back to Elon Musk being a nutsy. So there's another thing that was also from last millennia that he seems to have latched onto for some fucking reason. We did it. We didn't like it. Stop doing it. His response to people being like, "Hey, that's anti-Semitic. Don't be racist," was him responding on a post Wednesday that said Jewish communities, quote, have been pushing the exact kind of dialectal hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. The post also referenced hordes of minorities flooding Western countries, a popular anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. So his response to people saying, don't be anti-Semitic, and you're being anti-Semitic, was him saying, no, I'm not, I'm anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like, Elon
His
Musk
brain's gone loopy with all those drugs.
It sounds like Elon Musk has been reading from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, look it up on Wikipedia. Don't look at the text because they're disgusting. But anyway, it sounds like, but again, this is Musk sort of, he when he says, I'm a free speech absolutist, which of course means he's lying.
Yeah.
It means also, but if you dare try to publish something that shows how hate speech is thriving and is an important part of the income of Twitter, then you get sued.
It's almost the only income of Twitter. Apparently, the estimations for how much loss between advertising and his failure of a brand change, because Twitter was one of the most recognizable brands, is somewhere around 90% of its total market value since he bought it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's not good.
The best thing for society is just to have Twitter just digitally disintegrate, right? And fail to pay the power bills, to have the plug pulled. Believe me,
I think
other
so.
things you can
At
do
this
besides
point,
using that piece of filth.
At this point, I'm just gonna go after the previous owners of Twitter and be like, "What the fuck, man? Why were you so greedy that you decided for the money you decided I don't blame them, but I'm blaming them actually. Whatever I'm doing. So why?" Come back.
They were offered an absurd amount of money for what they owned.
Yeah,
An absurd amount.
And I'm telling you,
it's like if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Dapper, you've got this beer hanging out there. How would you like it if I took that beer off your hand and then I gave you a crisp $100 bill? I would sell this beer in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?" Even if that person then went and used the bottle to go stab someone, I'd still be like, "Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen, but at least I got my $100 bill for one beer."
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And then I would just go get another beer, which is exactly what they did.
I don't
in
blame
doing
them,
things
man.
like creating
the money
Blue Sky.
was obscene.
Yeah.
The money was obscene. Yeah.